My parents are gardeners, not by trade but by passion, and I was raised to know plants and climb trees. But I was afraid of creepy crawlies and often found myself retreating into my cave. And my mother says when her hands are inside the soil, that is how she goes to church, and it took me 2 decades to really understand. It took me finding my own piece of land, 5 square feet of neglected backyard, but it was mine. Well, actually, it was rented and not for a particularly long time, but I loved every weed infested, overshadowed centimetre, even the beetles. And I'm not saying I overcame all my phobias overnight, but we are a work in progress. When is it going to be finished? Was a question I asked my mother a lot as a child, and she would try to explain to me that a garden is never finished. That it can improve and grow and change, but it's never finished. A garden is a work in progress, a drama in time. And at the time, that seemed insane. It took me 2 decades to understand. It took finding my own piece of land, finding that church for myself inside the soil. And after a long, cold winter, my first irises came up into bloom. Purple and gold, and I started thinking about bees. Bees and the subtle majesty of how one set of species, how they eat, is how the vast majority of plants on our planet reproduce and produce so much. And when I am asked why I put so much energy and time and money into a garden that is only a temporary home, I am reminded that I am potentially more temporary than my garden. We are works in progress, drama in time, and a garden is a process towards permanence. Sustaining the connections between leaf and flower and bee, interconnectivity being as close to permanence as we are ever likely to see or touch outside of a church created of soil.